Joining us now, the contributing editor of theplayerstribune.com, CJ McCollum. Oh, he plays basketball too. CJ McCollum of the Trailblazers. CJ, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Good. Theplayerstribune.com, and it's a cool site. And you are a contributing editor now, so you've gotten a promotion in this world. And I loved your story on Lehigh's upset over Duke in the 2012 Big Dance, and it's a first person account. Are you enjoying that? I mean, I know you went to school for this at Lehigh, journalism and whatnot. Have you enjoyed this whole process? I know you're doing some radio and you like the broadcasting side of things. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. Obviously, basketball is my priority. That's one of the reasons why I get the opportunity to do a lot of stuff. But in the meantime, we do have a lot of free time on our hands, and whenever I get a chance to break down some film or write about basketball, it's a great opportunity for me. I try to utilize it as much as I can when I can.
You'll get a lot of titles in that position, but probably not a lot of cash. So.
Exactly. It's just it's a nice title, but at the same time, it is a very nice website, and it's something Derek Jeter started that allows the athletes to kind of interact with fans, and they're kind of able to tell their own stories from their own point of view.
And once again, it's theplayerstribune.com, so go there and you can read CJ's stories. And as you mentioned, Derek Jeter was one of the guys that started this thing out, and it's cool to hear first person accounts of and your story about your upset over Duke. Is that still maybe to this point one of your greatest basketball experiences, memories, whatnot?
I'd definitely say it's up there just because of the type of impact it had for Lehigh and the Patriot League in general. I mean, a lot of people had no idea Lehigh was a Division I program, let alone a program competing at that type of level. So it's a great memory to have, and I was thankful they gave me the opportunity to tell some different angles of this story.
All right, let's talk about the Blazers a little bit. Your performance on the court now, do you feel like when you got the ball and you think, I can take this guy, like if Gerald Green were checking you, or and do you feel more comfortable now putting the ball on the ground and taking your guy one-on-one than you did earlier with the Blazers?
Yeah, I definitely think I'm more comfortable out there, but it's more about picking the spot. There's times to break the offense, there's times to kind of, play within the system and move the ball and try to get others involved. But at the same time, you have to be aggressive, and sometimes, you get the ball late shot clock, or maybe coach calls your number. You got to try to create a play and make something happen.
Now, speaking of being aggressive and everything, is this your role now with that second unit? Aflalo is moved to the starting unit. Do you look to be the guy that scores the big points for that second unit?
I'm not trying to be the guy. I'm just trying to fulfill a role. Like you said before, obviously there's a void at the two-guard position now that West is out and Aaron is starting, so we do need some firepower off the bench at times. But I think Chris does a great job of scoring. I think Steve does a great job of hitting timely shots and keeping everybody involved. So I think it's game by game, but you have to be cognizant of when you have an opportunity to create something and make sure you take advantage of it.
Ideally, CJ, you'd like to say that your mental approach stays the same all year, and Coach Stotts has proven the stay ready philosophy, and it can be a cliche, but he's shown. I mean, he'll start different guys and bring different guys in. A guy will sit for a while, come back in. Your season has been interesting because you were in the rotation, and then all of a sudden the trade is made for Aflalo. Bring in a veteran like that, your minutes disappear for a short time. It would have been easy to drop your head. And then, as you know, the stay ready philosophy, once again, Wesley goes down, all of a sudden you're thrown back into it. So talk about the mental challenges of all of that, being in the rotation, out of it, and then thrown right back into it in a key role once again.
No, I think it's definitely challenging mentally, but at the same time, this is your job as a professional. And your job is to stay ready and put your work in every day, regardless if you're playing 20 to 30 minutes a night or getting DNPs. You're supposed to show up, practice, get your time in with the assistants and come in on off days and do what you're supposed to do. I think I live by the philosophy. I think my mom or somebody told me that, it's more important to stay ready. If you're not playing, you're not blowing your opportunity. You're blowing your opportunity if you get a chance to play and you're not ready. So I just try to make sure I'm ready at all times.
Speaking of that, a lot of the teams use the D-League for experience, but I'm always there with Mike Barrett here 3 hours before the game starts, and you guys are out on that court with the assistant coaches just working on different things every night. It doesn't matter if you're going to play or not. As you said, you put your work in. So you think that's more valuable playing with the assistant coaches than going to the D League?
I think it's just valuable to get your work in as much as you can. Obviously, we don't have a D League affiliate anymore, but I think skill work is crucial. But obviously, you need that game experience. But at the same time, I'm a guy who played in the D League. I think I played 2 games in the D League when I was rehabbing for my foot injury, and it's a good tune-up, but it doesn't compare to playing in the NBA. I think the only way you get that NBA experience is practicing with NBA caliber players night in and night out. And then obviously we have the 3-on-3 and 4-on-4 when we're not doing full practices. I think that helps players develop, and you get to go against other NBA players.
How long did it take you? You bring up the foot injury, and people always say, okay, CJ's in his 3rd year. You could almost argue second, just because you were so knocked off balance by having the foot injury in your first training camp, and then now the Kevin Durant one that we have to compare it to almost now. How difficult is that to come back from, as far as truly trusting a repaired injury? You know what I mean? It seemed like it took you a while to get your explosiveness back to where you really trusted your body again. And I know you're being asked about Durant's surgery and whatnot. Is it a longer process than maybe 4 to 6 months, which is the tag we hear thrown around on Durant's right now?
I definitely think it's a mental hurdle. When you have the same injury reoccur, you do think about it, you do worry about it, and sometimes you may not trust it, or you may not want to do a certain cut or a certain movement as fast or as explosive as you would be accustomed to. But I think it's interesting you bring that point up. I think I may have just played 82 games in 2 years. This is my 2nd year,
right?
And I probably passed the 82 game mark, 2 weeks ago. So it is an adjustment, and people don't realize that when you miss time with injuries and when you're on a good team, that one of the only ways to develop besides putting the extra time is to actually get game experience. And I think that, and we've seen that with Myers. Myers has done an incredible job of staying ready and developing. And you see the more he plays, the more comfortable he looks out there, the more confident he is in his jump shot. And I think that goes for a lot of young players. And in terms of the Durant injury, I'm not sure. I think they gave him a 4 to 6 month timeline. I think it's different player by player, person by person. Obviously, everybody's bodies heal differently. And with him being closer to 7 foot, I think they would err on the side of caution and probably err closer to that 6 month period. But for my injury, the second time it occurred, I didn't get surgery. The screw was still in place. Everything was fine. I ended up getting some bone, like a bone marrow injection, where they take something out of your hip and they inject it into the fracture site, and then some shockwave treatment. But I didn't end up getting another surgery.
Now, Will the Thrill was into our arena not long ago. How was it seeing him come back and playing against the Thrill?
It was great to see Will, man. I love that guy to death. Man, he's a guy who works extremely hard. He cares about the game, and it's glad to see him, doing well and taking advantage of an opportunity. And it was kind of strange seeing him in that light blue. It was a little strange seeing him, but he seems happy. He seems like he's in a good position where he's able to play within himself and show some of his talents, and look forward to seeing how his future progresses.
And lastly, CJ, you talked about, we mentioned trades and in-season trades sometimes, and there's a protection. Neil O'Shea is really good at protecting the chemistry of this team. What is this team like? I mean, it seems like, and Aaron Aflalo has said it since recently joining this team, this team has some seriously good chemistry, and I think you see it play out, and it seems like it's getting tighter. Your role, Aaron's role, the other roles are established. You guys have had to make the biggest adjustments, but in the last few games, it seems like you guys, because of that great chemistry, have really started to kind of hit your stride.
Yeah, I think we have one of the more unique teams in the NBA, where we have the designated stars, where we got LA, who's I'm going to say he's the best power forward in the NBA, and then we got Dame, who's one of the best point guards in the NBA. And there's no real egos. Everybody gets along well. Everybody's on the younger side, and there's no clashing. And I think I said this earlier. I don't know who I said it to, but I talked to Draymond before the Golden State game, and we were kind of talking about how we're fortunate to be on teams where we're on a great team, young players, no real egos. Everybody gets along well, and it's fun basketball and a fun environment to where you actually like hanging out with the people outside of practices and games.
CJ, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work, and love to have seen you getting the minutes back and the roll back, and how you've embraced that, and the hard work is paying off.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
And
all right.
Next time we have you on, we'll give you a title. No money, but a title.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Contributing editor to Trailblazers Courtside
Yes.
is CJ McCollum. He's got his title now.
There you go.
Thanks, CJ. By the way, fans, log on to the playerstribune.com and you can read CJ's latest piece. Good stuff. And continues to do stuff on SiriusXM as well, on the NBA channel there. So, and hopefully have him in sometime soon, and maybe in the offseason we'll give him a co-host title perhaps for a show or two.